Welcome to the Irresistible You podcast. This is the place to get a dose of empowerment to create the life you crave and deserve. My name is Amy with two E's, and I am the CEO and founder of Irresistible University. Through my podcast and courses, I teach women just like you how to ditch the body image issues, gain confidence, and lose the emotional weight to look and feel irresistible at any size. Welcome to episode 228. All right, so we are in the last couple of weeks of summer. And let me just tell you that I am hanging on to that for as long as possible. My kids don't go back to school until Labor Day, Tuesday after Labor Day, as it should be. I just think it is so strange and ridiculous for schools to go back to school in August. I don't understand it. I don't know if it's like a growing up on the East Coast thing. Like that just was never a thing. And all the schools now with this August bullshit is just, that is summertime. Okay, like can we just not? Anyway, I digress. Summer is dwindling away. It is slipping through our fingers, and I wanted to share with you one of my favorite activities in the summer. I don't go a summer without doing it. I love it. I live for it. If you watch me on Instagram, you know that. And one of my favorite activities or hobbies is to go crabbing. I know, you're like, this is not a fishing podcast. This is not a crabbing podcast. What is happening? I'm going to get to that because as I go through life and I experience things, my brain just automatically is like connecting the dots with how it relates back to Irresistible You and how you can use it for self-improvement. Like my brain just works that way. And so in one of my recent crabbing adventures, I had this thought that was like, oh my gosh, crabbing is just like weight loss. I know, weird, right? Let's break it down. Let's just break it down. So the other day, it was a random weekday morning. The four of us were out like early in the morning. I can't really remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure it had something to do with my car. The drama in the saga of my truck that it is now, as of today of this recording, it has been out of my hands for the last 2 months. I have not had my car for the entirety of the summer. And I'm not even going to get into that because I will start ranting and going off because it's absolutely infuriating. It has literally been one thing after another. But anyway, so whatever happened that morning, we didn't get the car, obviously. And so Frank was like, you want to go crabbing? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Like we were heading home and I'm like, yeah, let's go do that. I'm like, I don't have any meetings. I don't have any deadlines today. It's summertime. Like you don't get the time back. Hell yeah, let's go. And so we ran home and we got all the stuff to go. And I'm thinking, all right, this is going to be perfect. I love going places on the weekdays. And I love going places on the weekdays because there's usually not a lot of people there. You know, things aren't as crowded. People aren't really out and about on the weekdays. Even in the summer, things are less crowded during the week. So I'm thinking, cool, it's going to be like less crowded. There probably won't be anybody there because also this was like a gloomy, rainy morning. Like that's definitely going to keep people away from the water. You know, let's go. So I have my little spot that I always go crabbing. I've been going there forever and a day. And I'm very territorial. Even though it's a public place, I consider it my spot. This is my dock, my spot. And anyone that is in like when I get there, I get anxiety that someone is going to be sitting on the dock where I like to be. There's multiple docks. I have a particular dock that I sit at, and that is my hot spot. It is where I get all the crabs. I always have the best of luck. And so we pull in the parking lot, and it was not as empty as I thought it would be. It wasn't crowded by any means, but there were people on both docks. And I was really irritated by that. I know. So there was this family that was on my dock where I do my crabbing. It was a dad and two like teenage kids. And when I tell you I had unreasonable rage, like completely unhinged, unreasonable rage, like going on under the surface, because these people, they were catching crab after crab. And it was pissing me off because they had a styrofoam cooler, and I'm like, okay, amateurs. They were freaking out when they were taking the crabs out of the water. Like, they were screaming. I'm like, for God's sakes. And I could tell that they really didn't know what they were doing. They were using like butterfly nets to catch I was hating on these people. I admit I was hating on them. They were pissing me off, and I had some rage going. I'm like, first of all, you're in my spot. Second of all, you're catching all my crabs. And anyway, so we set up on the other side where I don't really like to go crabbing. I don't love that spot, but it's the same water. Like, it's the exact same water. It is feet away from, quote unquote, my spot. So we set up, we've got our chicken, we've got our nets, which we had to go back home and get the nets because somehow Frank forgot those. Whatever. So we have our nets, we have our chicken, we have our string. We're like stringing up the chicken, throwing it in the water, and it was awful. I am just sitting there like twiddling my thumbs. Kids are playing on the dock. Me and him are just getting irritated, right? Because we're just like, what the hell? And so we were out there maybe a little bit over an hour. I'm not really sure how long it really was. And the entire time we were there, I caught a total, are you ready? I caught a total of 2 crabs. Now, when I tell you, when I am normally in my spot, it is like one after the other, after the other, after the, like I take one out of the water, I dump it in the cooler, I put my net back in, I get another. Like, it is insane. And we will usually have like multiple lines going. So the people left. I went back to my spot. I still didn't have any luck. I had a few that were too small, had to throw them back in the water, and we ended the day with 2 because the sky just completely fell out, and it was time to go. I needed to get back home, because it was getting close for Frank to go to work too. So anyway, I left. He's like, "Are you keeping those?" I said, "Hell yeah, I'm keeping those." It's like, when you go home to steam crabs, nobody's going home to steam 2 crabs. Like, what the hell is that? But I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my 2 crabs home. I'm going to throw them in the steamer. I've got some shrimp. I've got some corn. And we're going to have a nice little, and some veggies. We're going to have a nice little summer lunch here, okay? So I did that. And then I think it was like a few days later, because this was during the week, probably on the weekend. Yeah, on the weekend, we came back to redeem ourselves. Come back to redeem ourselves, and our spot was open. I'm like, yes. So we go to our spot, we get everything set up. We've got like 5 lines in the water, and it was just like it always is. I was like, I'm back, bitches. And it was one after the other, after the other, after the other. And these crabs were huge. They were like really good size, right? Because a certain size, you have to throw them back. They're too small. We just catch a lot of little guys, but obviously we throw those back in the water. There's nothing to eat in those things anyway. So we probably left out of there with a solid, like maybe 30 crabs in a very short period of time. Went home and had like a massive crab steam, I call it a crab boil, even though I don't boil them anymore. I steam them. Crab picking, crab feast, whatever everybody calls it something different depending on where you're from. So it got me thinking about something. I'm like, this is just like weight loss, because here's the thing, and here's where I'm going to connect it back for you. The difference between the weekday and the weekend, it was like a few days later that we went back, was nothing. It's the same water, same body of water. It is the same bait. I always use raw chicken drumsticks. Same bait, same lines to tie them on, same nets. Everything's the same. I've got everything the same. And some days it's just, for whatever reason, it's not your day to catch anything. And the same if you do fishing. Like, my husband and my dad are fishermen, and There's days where they're out there all day and it's like you catch nothing. And there's other days where it's like one after the other and you catch the one. So, there's just different variables that could be going on that you don't really understand, right? Like it could be and it's interesting because those other people were catching stuff. So, and that's the thing, we compare ourselves, right? So there's the comparison of, oh my God, look at them. They're catching all the crabs. I'm doing the exact same thing and I'm not catching any. That girl over there has already lost 60 pounds and I've only lost 30 and we're doing the same thing. There's different things going on under the water, pun intended, that you aren't privy to, that you don't necessarily understand or know about. With the crabs, it could be, they're really pulling over there in that spot because the tide, it was the right timing with the tides. They like the rocks over there better. The pilings underneath the dock are better. Like, I don't know, the barnacles are tasting better. I don't know. It's just the way the tide pulls and the water's flowing. Like, there's different things literally under the water that we can't always see. And we could be doing the exact same thing and getting different results. Just like with weight loss, we can both be doing the exact same tactics, have the same strategy, and we're having different results. Because just like the real water, the oceans, the waters, our bodies are doing things under the surface that we aren't privy to, that we don't always understand. There are fluctuations in hormones. There are, your body is just constantly making tweaks and adjustments. And if you get yourself caught up in that comparison game, what do you want to do? You want to quit. You want to throw in the towel, or you've done some work to be like, I'm not throwing in the towel. This just makes me want to work even harder to like prove myself wrong and break through this plateau that I'm having. So there's so many wonderful comparisons to this experience with the crabs, with your weight loss, right? You just never know. You never know, how do I want to say this? You can have different results every week, even though you do things the same. And I know that's frustrating. I know it's infuriating. I know it's irritating. I know it's annoying. It makes you just want to scream, but it is what it is. And I have definitely noticed that in this is the last weight loss journey. This is it. There is no going back ever again. There is no reason for me to ever gain weight again. I'm not having no more kids. I got my mental health, emotional health under control over the last, 10 plus years. Like, there is no going backwards, y'all. So in this last weight loss journey, yes, it has been slow, but what I notice is I will lose, and then I sit at the same weight for a couple of weeks. And it's like the body has to readjust to this new place. It has to recalibrate. It has to readjust. Like, okay, now you're at this weight. How much energy do you need? How much calories do you need? How much intake do you, like, your body is constantly doing that recalibration when it had learned to live at that other weight for a while. So this was just such I love metaphors. I love analogies. I think it's the lifelong learner in me. It's the learning development professional in me. I love to find ways to compare and have metaphors. It's just a great way to learn. And so I want you to take this away in your own journeys and your own experiences with your weight, that even though you're doing the same thing you did last week and you get on the scale this week and the scale doesn't budge, that's okay. That is part of the process and that is going to happen, right? Like, we just don't always know what the body's doing under the surface, and it's okay. And you cannot allow yourself to get caught in the comparison game. Like, that is not going to serve you. That is not going to help you. And that sure as shit isn't going to get the weight off. Like, you comparing yourself and hating on other people is not going to put you in a position to get your weight off, right? It's just like the people, and I was hating on them because I was like, yeah, they're from out of town. They don't know what they're doing. Like, whatever. Because they were talking, oh, we're going to go back to the hotel and we're going to cook. I'm like, whatever. Take your ass back to that hotel. So if you get caught in that, if I get caught in that, if you get caught in that, you're not catching any crabs. You're not losing any weight. It was like, okay, today, and I had to reframe myself in the crabbing situation, because it's like, hey, you took the morning off. You spent the time with your family. You got to do something that your kids, it'll be another core summer memory for them. You and Frank got to spend time together during the week, which we never get to do with work schedules. And life is good. Like, what is there to complain about? There's a quote that's like, a bad day of fishing is better than a good day in the office, right? So you kind of have to look at it that way and be grateful for the experience. What did I learn from it? What did I enjoy this week? And then take that back to your weight loss. You have a week where you don't lose. All right, so what did I do well this week? What really worked for me? What am I proud of? What do I feel good about? And I share on here all the time how you can't get caught in the final result. You get so wound up and bound about the final result, the weight loss, the goal weight, and you take your eyes off of what really matters. And what really matters is the journey and the process to get there and what you do in that process. Because a real weight loss journey, not a diet, not a toxic diet, not a desperate diet, not a yo-yo diet, but a true weight loss journey is not just about weight. It is not just about saying, I want to lose 100 pounds and I want to lose 100 pounds by next year, by the end of the year. What it's about is fundamentally changing the woman that you are, becoming the woman that you want to be. You will not become the woman that you crave, that you want to be by simply losing weight, right? There's a million reasons why that's never going to work. A real weight loss journey is a full body, and I mean like not just physical, a full body transformation, transforming the way that you think, the way that you speak about yourself, that you speak to yourself, transforming the way that you show up for yourself, transforming the way you show up for other people, transforming the way you present yourself and package yourself to the world. All of that is bundled up into a real weight loss journey transformation. And that's what I call becoming irresistible you, is implementing elements, guiding principles from my framework to not just lose weight, because I don't teach you how to lose weight. I don't teach you how to lose physical weight. That's not what I do here. What I do here is I teach you the shit that really matters. How to do everything I just said, how to change your thoughts, how to change your beliefs, how to change your actions, how to keep commitments to yourself. That is all part of this journey. And so if your weight loss is going slow, that's okay, because we're not just working on physical weight loss. We're working on dropping the emotional weight of your beliefs, the emotional weight of what other people believe about you, the emotional weight of, how you feel about yourself, how you show up for yourself, right? All of those things are wrapped up into what the weight has represented. The weight that's there was gained because of something that you went through, or something that you believed, or something that you didn't believe about yourself, that you didn't believe or love in yourself enough to take good care of yourself, right? So you turn to food and you use food as an outlet. You use food as a coping mechanism, thinking, well, the food doesn't let me down. Is that true? Is that really true? Like, how is that serving you now? And this journey, if you just focus on the goal weight, you're missing the bigger picture. You're missing the point. So when you get on that scale every week and the scale is the same, you say to yourself, okay, what am I proud of? You focus on the actions, because it's the little micro actions, it's the little micro decisions that you are making consistently from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. All of those micro decisions and micro actions are what snowball into the big stuff, right? You don't just lose the weight because you say, oh, I'm going to lose the weight. You lose the weight because today you made a decision. I'm not going to have the fried. I'm going to go with the grilled or the broiled. Today you made a decision. I'm going to stop drinking real soda. Today you made a decision to get your ass off the couch and go move for 10 minutes. It's not because you move for 90 minutes a day doing P90X bullshit that got you to lose weight. It's because you said 10 minutes is better than nothing. 5 minutes is better than sitting my ass on the couch. I'm going to go to bed instead of eating snacks at 10 o'clock at night. Those are the little micro decisions where it matters. That's where you show up for yourself. And when you show up for yourself in these ways, like I said, it's going to snowball into eventually the big results that you're looking for. And not just that, the big results that are here to stay, because you didn't desperate diet. You made choices, you made decisions with a bigger picture in mind, that you didn't want to just lose weight. You wanted to change your life and become the woman you crave and deserve to be. That's where it matters. That's where the rubber hits the road, right? And so when you get on that scale and it's the same, it's like, okay, but here's what I did this week. I made these decisions when I could have made these other worse decisions, right? Or it's like, you know what? I did the best I could this week. I had this going on. I had that going on. Don't have my car. I had, this issue or whatever. Like, list out what you went through, and you're still standing there and you're breathing and you're still here and you're still in it. You're still in the journey until you decide you're not. Okay? And that's the mentality that you have to have even when the scale is going up week after week. And that's a time for you to have a conversation with yourself. Like, tell the truth. Because when you have been the quote unquote fat girl and you have been an emotional eater and you have struggled with your weight, I will tell you, you may not admit this to yourself yet, you have a hard time admitting the truth. You have a hard time putting your glasses on to see reality. You live in delusion. You live in the land of land of delusion, right? Like, oh, it's not that bad. I didn't really do that bad. Or you know what? I'm just going to ignore the scale. It's like that zoning out stuff, the zombie walking, the zombie eating. Like, I'll pay attention next week. I'll start over on Monday. I'll start over next month. I'll start over next year. And fuck it. It's about to be September, y'all. Like, that's coming up. The fuck it fall is right around the corner. And fuck it fall is, well, school just went back, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Yeah, might as well not give a shit, right? Might as well throw in the towel. Might as well just inhale everything in sight because fuck it fall. Here we go. You know what? Who cares? We'll start over in January. Girl, stop. Please stop doing that. Do you know how much damage you can do between now and the beginning of the year for the better or the worse? Your choice. Your choice. So this whole starting over and lying to yourself and deluding yourself and saying like, oh, I'm not going to get on the scale today because I probably gained. And next thing you know, 2 weeks go by, 2 months, and guess what? It's January 1st, new year, new me. I mean, how many more times are you going to do that? How many more years? Okay? And it's just a crazy cycle. And this cycle won't stop until you decide it stops. This cycle doesn't stop until you stop zombie walking your ass through your life and you find a wrench and you throw it in the wheel of the yo-yo diet body hate shame cycle and you wake the fuck up and pay attention to what goes in your mouth and pay attention to what thoughts you have and pay attention to how you show up and start doing something about it. Because we're real good at bitching and complaining. We are real good at finding everything that's wrong. We are real good at saying, oh my God, I didn't lose any weight this week. Like, we're real good at doing that instead of saying, damn, I didn't gain this week. I stayed the same. That's a win. Or, damn, I gained this week. Let me figure out why. Let me figure out how to do better next week. Let me figure out if it's something that I could have done better. Let me figure out if it's something going on under the water with my body. Maybe it's the time of the month. Maybe it's hormone changes. Maybe it's something else. But the victimhood needs to fucking stop. It needs to stop. Quit running around blaming everybody else for the reason you're not losing weight. Oh, if my husband would just get on board and eat healthy with me. Okay. That has nothing to do with you. If my kids would stop like, here's my thing about the kid thing. Let me rant for a minute. You know I like to rant. Hang on, get ready. Those of you that complain about, well, I could lose weight if my kids didn't have their snacks in the house. Why the fuck do you bring that shit in the house for them? Hello? Repeat the patterns much? Like, I just cannot with that behavior. When I hear people say, well, my kids got their cookies and they have this, why are you feeding them that shit if you don't want to eat that shit? Your kids, trust me when I tell you, they will eat whatever you put in the house. If you load the house up with healthy choices, oh, wow, guess what? They will do the same thing because what other choice do they have? Okay? It is amazing to me, the people that say that. Why are you bringing home garbage for your kids when you're trying to change your lifestyle? What the fuck are you teaching them? I just have to rant on that because I see this all the time. And it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. You know, our kids don't learn from what we tell them. They learn from what we show them. Okay? And it's crazy to me. Like, when we're out at the pool and stuff, I have like a big circle thing that has the different compartments. You could put chips. It's made for like chips and dip, but it has several different compartments. It's round. And I will put oranges, I put strawberries, I put blueberries, I put turkey pepperonis, I cut up cubes of cheese, I put some crackers, some goldfish, and I put the plate out on the patio as we're swimming so that everybody can kind of snack and not get starving because you burn a lot of energy in the pool. And guess what? My kids tear it up. Okay, if I filled that shit up with ding dong, I don't even eat ding dongs and I don't even eat Twinkies. I can't stand Little Debbie snacks. All those fattening little things and chocolate and all this like garbage. If I filled it up with that, guess what? They're kids. They're gonna love it and they're gonna eat it. So please stop using that as an excuse and take control of your household. Just take control. Anyway, I digress. I just can't. So the point being, your excuses are just that. They're bullshit excuses. Well, the kids would eat this and my husband would get on board and my husband would walk with me. I love my family, but get in or don't. Get in or don't. Like, I'm gonna do me and I'm gonna take care of me. And I hope by doing that, as a result, it rubs off on everybody else. And Like we're just in a good place right now. Like I'm almost at Wonderland. I cannot wait to share that with you guys. Go back and listen to last week's or the last 10 pounds 10 times. And I am like, we are hanging on by a thread to get to Wonderland. It is right there. Frank is in the best shape of his life. He's 40. He's going to be 44 in a few months. Like, has never, ever been this in shape. Like, I'm like, dang. I'm like, look at us. Like, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But what is that showing our kids? You know what I mean? Like, the I don't know though, I can't even find my words, but like what that's going to instill in them and show them, right? And we have never talked about dieting. We don't ever talk about weight loss. We don't talk about that stuff in front of them. We just talk about making good choices, or like, we still order we had Cheesecake Factory cheesecake the other night. Like, it's all about balance. It's all about moderation, right? It's not about deprivation. It's not about desperation. It's not about like being perfect, right? It's about being human and learning how to just change your life so that you can approach it like I say normal person, right? Who's normal? A person that has a healthy relationship with food. And I have never felt better about my relationship with food. Like, it's insane. It is insane how it's going. Like the other day, Frank texted me, and my birthday was July 30th. Okay. It was last week because my parents came like the first or second week of August, and we celebrated with them. And so this cake has been sitting there for 2+ weeks, and he's like, "Can I have the last piece of your cake?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Y'all, I have walked past that cake every morning, every lunch, every time I'm in the kitchen. I walk past it, I look at it, I'm like, don't want it. Guys, my website, my blog that I started is Irresistible Icing. There's a reason for that. Buttercream icing and me were like, I can't stay away from Harris Teeter and sitting my ass in the bathtub and eating them, or buying the tub of icing from Harris Teeter and eating it with the spoon in the bathtub. I could not tell you the last time I've done that. I've been in this house for 4 years, and I don't think I've ever done that in this house, at least. So it's all possible. Change your life. It is possible to not be the token fat girl. It is possible to not be I just have a problem with food. I'm just big boned. I'm just this. Like, that is your own belief. You have that belief, and you also have the empowerment to change it. But you got to stop making excuses. You got to stop comparing yourself to everybody else and what they're doing. Don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. And I still have those moments. Like, I've had to get off of Facebook because I'm in different like tirzepatide and stuff like that, like the weight loss groups for the injections and stuff. And some people have really, really fast results, just like Frank did. He had really fast results. I did not. Okay, I'm still going. And sometimes I'm like, go do something else. Because again, we don't know what's going on underneath the water. We can't see under the water. We don't know what's going on in their life or their body, and they don't know what's going on in ours. And we don't always know what's under the water of our own body. Why are we still hanging on to this number? What's going on? We don't always have the answers to that. Because sometimes the body just does what the body does, and it's normal. So again, focus on the actions. Focus on here's an activity that I like to do, and you can do this too, is at the beginning of the week. It doesn't have to be the beginning of the week. It can be today. Whatever day of the week it is for you right now. Don't wait till Monday and say, okay, at the end of this week, what is it that I can do that I'm going to be proud of? Okay. What does that look like? What does it look like? And it's not, well, I'm going to lose 100 pounds. It's like, okay, at the end of this week, I will be really proud if I get my water in every single day. I will be really proud of myself this week if I don't order food, if I don't go through the drive-through line, if I don't eat anything fried. That's what you focus on, not I better lose 5 pounds. I better lose 3 pounds. Like, in all honesty, we can't control that. We really can't. We really can't control that. It's at the very most simplistic level. Yeah, weight loss is eat less, move more, but it's not that simple. And it's not that simple for everyone else. I was eating less and moving more and gaining weight. That's why I started the injections. That's why I got on them, because nothing was working for me anymore. Why? Because I'm probably insulin resistant. The doctors have not diagnosed me that way, but what else is going on? Clearly, I must be insulin resistant, because the moment I get on those injections, and I've taken metformin in the past as well, guess what? I'm able to lose weight. So there are biological, physiological things going on in your body that you don't always have control over. So you can't control whether you're going to lose exactly 3 pounds this week. But what you can control is what I just said. Pick some of those goals. I'm not ordering food out this week. The desperate dieter in you is going to resist. The desperate dieter that has been ingrained in you for years is going to say, then what's the point? What difference does it make if I don't order DoorDash or I don't go out to eat if I don't lose the weight? Here's why it matters. It matters for a couple of different reasons. It's a commitment. It's a goal. You made a commitment to yourself that you were going to do it. So follow through, because your confidence is probably shattered right now in a million pieces on the floor. How do you build confidence? The fastest path to confidence is to do what you say you're going to do. You have let yourself down so many times with your desperate dieting attempts. I'll start over on Monday. I'll start over Thursday. I'll start over on September, January, whatever. This is my year. But you don't do things that will lead to those results. You just say that you want it. And I have no doubt that you want it. I know I always wanted it. But delusion, my friend, delusion will keep you from getting there. Delusion that if I just do this for a few more days, or if I just keep my head down and diet and not go anywhere, So why it matters is because you're going to keep commitments. And you're going to keep commitments, and why that matters is you build trust in yourself. And when you build trust in yourself, you build belief that you can do something. And when you build belief and trust that you can do what you say you're going to do, guess what? You build confidence as a result. Confidence is the side effect that comes with keeping commitments. Confidence is a side effect that comes from doing what you say you're going to do. You're like, damn, I did it. Wow. Because if you listen to this podcast, you are someone that cannot keep commitments to yourself. Because if you did, you wouldn't be here. You are someone that doesn't follow through, but yet you want it so bad. You want it so bad that you beat yourself up, you sit at home and cry, you hate yourself, but then you don't follow through with what you say you're gonna do. Do you see the disconnect? Let's go back to delusion again. Fat girl delusion. That's what it is. And the other reason it matters so much is because you're building habits and patterns. You have to unlearn all of your habits and patterns that got you to where you are today. Because if you don't, what are you supposed to do when you get to your goal weight? You desperate diet your way down the scale. You desperate diet, you get to your goal weight, and now what? You haven't built commitment. You haven't built habits. You haven't changed the way you think and feel. You haven't changed the way you show up for yourself. You did it out of desperation. So now what? So it's okay to go slower. It's okay to not lose every week. It's okay to gain some weeks. As long as you're putting in the work in the full body transformation of Irresistible You. And create those habits. Just be like, you know what? Like now, okay, so like last night, the kids and I I don't like pizza. Like, I always say I could go the rest of my life, never eat a piece of pizza, and I would be fine. I am not someone who will voluntarily, like, oh, I want pizza. But last night, for whatever reason, I had an inkling for pizza. And I was like, you know what? It's raining, it's storming. Let's just order a pizza. We're going to watch Monster High and we're going to just, chill out with me and the kids. And I ordered DoorDash, and that was the first time, like, I have just not been ordering DoorDash. And I was like a big DoorDasher for a while. Like, it was pretty ridiculous, honestly. And for me, it's mostly out of convenience. It's just working full time, momming full time. It's like, and now you want me to go cook? Really? No thanks. So that's been a habit that's been built where I don't need to have DoorDash all the time. You've got to build those habits. You've got to build those routines. And the more you do that, the more you build that trust, the more you build the confidence. So it's not about the goal at the end of the week. Oh, I better lose 3 pounds. No, the goal actually is the actions. The goal is the actions. The goal is, I'm not going to order DoorDash this week, or I'm going to order one time. We're going to allow ourselves as a family to eat out twice this whole entire week. Okay, cool. Better make it count. Which 2 days do we want to do? You eat out Monday, Tuesday. What are you doing on the weekend now? Because if it's up to me, I'd probably rather do it on the weekend. So the goal is actually the actions that you're taking, because that's where you build the muscle, like not the physical muscle. That is where you are building the mental strength. You're losing the emotional weight. That is where the rubber hits the road. And I just want to drill that into your head and make you understand that this is not just about getting on the scale and seeing how much it's gone down. Right? I was just having a moment the other day where I'm like, I am one stomach flu away from Wonderland, as they say. Probably not even a stomach flu, but like, I'm so close. It's ridiculous. But that's a whole new dimension for me. Like, that brings things into, damn, like, I'm really close now to where I want to be. And I am by no means thin. I am not at all. But it's just a new playing field for me. And it puts things into perspective. And I was thinking the other night, I was like, damn, like, yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm really happy to get to Wonderland and to finally be in the 100s, and then, be like, all right, now I can just really focus on, toning and, just all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so that wasn't my point. My point was, I was thinking about everything else that's been changing, the habits, how little I think about food, how little I fantasize about food, or, ooh, what are we going to eat when the kids go to sleep? I don't know. I don't care. I'm not hungry. Or I'll just, have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I'll call it a day. I'm good. And it just got me thinking about those habits. And that's what really matters, because that is what will sustain you for the rest of your life. Because if you're anything like me, I'm trying to lose weight for the last time in my life. I'm trying to lose weight for the last time. I have no plans on doing this again, but you can't be ignorant about that and be like, well, I'm trying to lose it for the last time. Like, that's great, but you better have the skill set and the habits and the tools to stay in that healthy place the rest of your life. Because you can't desperate diet and then be like, well, now I'm on my goal weight, and now you have no idea what to do. So what always happens, that's why the weight always comes back. Because it's not because you don't know how to lose weight. Every single one of you listening to this knows how to get weight off. It's because you didn't learn how to maintain. You didn't learn how to deal with your emotions. You didn't learn how to cope with the shit that happens in your life. The only thing you know how to do is like turn to food. That's why every time something happens, you're like, I was doing so good, but then, I lost my job. I was doing so good. And, I don't know, insert your problem of choice, right? Like, I was doing so good. And then, I had all these issues with my job, or I had all these issues with my family, or so-and-so got sick, and blah, 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 blah. Excuse, 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 excuse. That's what it is. And the way, and it's all about how you frame things, right? Like that victimhood of like, I was doing so good, and then this happened. What happened, the circumstance, didn't stop you from losing weight. You allowed yourself to stop losing weight because you didn't know how to deal with the circumstance other than using food. That's reality. That's what it really is. You didn't learn how to cope with your life, or you don't know how to deal with your emotions in another way, another healthy way. That's why you fell off the wagon. That's why you gained the weight back. The circumstance, the incidents, your boyfriend broke up with you, your boss laid you off, your boss yelled at you. Those things didn't say, oh, your boss is saying like, I'm going to lay you off and I'm also going to stop you from losing all your weight. I'm so evil that I'm going to stop your weight loss journey. No, you didn't have the coping skills to deal with what was going on other than food. You can't expect to lose weight in a perfect bubble. We're not on The Biggest Loser here. This is not The Biggest Loser. You are not on The Biggest Loser ranch for 8 weeks with a personal trainer and personal chefs. No, honey. You are in the real world. Learn how to deal with your fucking emotions. I am on one today, okay? And sorry, not sorry. Sometimes you need to hear it that way. I love y'all, and I'm going to give it to you real, and I'm going to give it to you the way you need to hear it. You need to stop being coddled by everybody in your life. You need to stop coddling yourself. And again, it goes back to what I said at the beginning. You don't know how to face reality and have a real life conversation with yourself. To say, you know what? I do need to work on this. I do act like a victim. I do act like the world owes me something. I do act like it's everybody else's fault except for mine. No one is sitting there holding you down, chaining you up to the wall, and shoving cupcakes and food down your throat. And if they are, please go get help. But that is not what's happening. You are doing this. And while you can't always control how much weight comes off, you do control what goes in your mouth. You do control the thoughts that come out of your brain. You do control the actions that come out of you. And when you find out that you control that and you can own that, you will feel empowered to actually do something. But being overweight, having an emotional eating problem, there is so much entitlement and delusion and victimhood that is wrapped up into that. Like, we should do a whole episode just unpacking all of those things a little bit more, because there is so much wrapped into it. We have to take control and responsibility and accountability for our life. You might have something shitty happen to you. I've had plenty of shitty things happen to me. We have all been dealt a card that we didn't ask for. We all have a cross to bear. We all have something going on that no one else even knows about. We all have had lemons thrown at us. That is called being a human. You will not escape the human condition. You will not escape the human experience without a bad card, without a lemon, without being knocked to your knees. It's going to happen to every single one of us, and it's not going to happen just once. Some things are going to be worse than others, but it's going to happen. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news. I'm here to be the real news. So learn how to get a hold of your emotions. And that doesn't mean, oh my God, this horrible thing happened to me, I better suck it up and move on. That is not what that means. That is not a healthy way to deal with your emotions. A healthy way to deal with your emotions is to acknowledge and accept that they're happening in the first place, to give yourself time, to give yourself grace. Okay? Like when Kat was diagnosed with type 1 back in 2021, I stayed the same for a long time with my weight. And I wasn't mad about it because I was going through actual hell for months. A hell and a darkness that no one else can understand unless they've been through it. The only person I could relate to at that moment was Frank. He was the only person, and I was the only person for him that knew what we were dealing with. And if you're a parent that has gone through that, then you get it and you know it, and I'm with you. People are sweet and they're kind and they can be empathetic, but they don't understand. And it makes you angry at the world. I know for me, I was angry at the world for a while. I couldn't even go on social media. I couldn't, like the first couple weeks, I went ghost. I went ghost for like a month, even on the podcast, on my socials, because I was resentful and angry. It's like the stages of grief. You don't just lose people and go through grief. You go through the stages of grief when something like that transforms your life. So understand that that's okay and that's normal. And when I got in that anger stage, I couldn't go on social media. I was scrolling the feed and seeing people, and I love all my peoples, right? Like my friends, my family, everybody I follow, but it was really hard to watch people carefree out with their kids. I'm like, oh, look at them. They don't have to worry about if their child doesn't wake up tonight because of their low blood sugar. Oh, look at them. Must be nice. And I'm not going to live in that. I'm not going to live in resentment. I'm not going to live in anger because that's miserable. But feel it the way you need to feel it and then move the fuck on in your time. You can have a pity party. I tell you this all the time. You can have a pity party, but it needs to have an end time. You may not be ready for it to end, but you've got to do the work to help yourself get out of that party. Because it's not a good place to be. But sometimes you got to be in it for a little while. You know what I mean? You have to feel it. You have to be in it. Instead of being delusional and acting like everything's okay and acting like you don't need to feel this way. Or beating yourself up. Why am I so angry? Why am I so sad? Why am I so this? I don't live in that space. I haven't been in that space in years when it comes to type 1. You know, and I know my women out there that struggle with fertility go through this. If you see one more baby announcement, it's like you're happy for that person, but you're also really bitter and resentful and you're angry because you're sad because you want that to be you too. And sometimes life is just so cruel and so unfair. And I tell this to my daughter all the time, you know, I said, you're entitled to your feelings. You got handed a lemon, but it is up to you to make lemonade out of it. It is up to you to turn it around for something better. You can have your bad day, but you can't stay there. You can be upset about it, but you can't stay there. Because if you stay there, you're doing a disservice to yourself. You're making yourself miserable. You know, so we're all going to have circumstances. We've all had things happen. You just have to learn how to manage yourself, manage your emotions. And again, it doesn't mean acting like everything's okay. Please don't do that either. That's horrible. To me, that's even worse. Those people are even worse because you're going to explode. You're going to explode if you keep acting like everything's okay. Oh, my life is so perfect. I always say people that are happy 24/7 are like the overly happy Disney princess shit. Red flag. Serious red flag. I have no goal in life to be happy all the time. I think that's exhausting. I think that is, as an introvert, that is energetically exhausting to think about that. My goal in life is to feel peace, to feel at ease, and to feel peaceful. I want to feel calm and I want to feel at peace even when the seas are rough around me. right? So get out of the comparison and just start focusing on what you can. I hope that you can take something away from this. I hope this was a good metaphor. I know I went on some rants. That's just me. That's what I do. It's my style. If you're new here, hi. Hi. If you're new here, hi, welcome. This is how it is. And if you don't like it, it's simple. Don't follow me. I mean, it's like people online are the funniest people. They get so bent out of shape about a post or a podcast or a video. Just move on. If you don't like it, move on. There's a million other people you could follow. Find somebody that you vibe with. You don't vibe with me, it's fine. I don't care. If you do vibe with me, I love it. Hey, let's hang out. Let's be here together. But I'm no bullshit. I don't make apologies. Like, that's just who I am. That's just who I am. This is my podcast. I say what I mean. I say how I feel. I say it the way you need to hear it. And those of you that know me know it all comes from love. It all comes from like respect. And it comes from, I know what the fuck I'm talking about because I've been in your shoes. When it comes to the weight and all the feelings that are wrapped up into that, I get it. And yeah, so I hope the metaphor was helpful to you about crabbing, even if you're not a crabber or a fisher person. You have that takeaway that you can do the same things every single week, but you might not get the results that you want, right? So just like with my example, I focused on, you know what? I got 2 crabs. Better than nothing. And I can mix this with some steamed shrimp. I got some steamed veggies. We're going to make corn. We're going to have a beautiful summer afternoon lunch. Okay. And it was great. And that's what you focus on. You don't focus on, I only got 2. And those people took over my dock and I hate them and I don't like them and it's their fault. Right? Like, yeah, I was hating on them for a minute because again, feel your feelings, acknowledge it, don't be delusional, and then move on. Move on because you're keeping yourself in a prison if you stay in that victimhood, resentful place. So let's have an amazing week. Let's get out there. Let's create our action plan for the week. Your actions are the true goals. If you happen to lose weight in the process, icing on the cake. It's just another added side effect, right? A good side effect. So on that note, let's stay connected. You can stay connected with me through Instagram at Irresistible Icing. I also have a free Facebook podcast discussion group. We are going to really be rocking and rolling in that come September. So please request to join. Let's get in there. Let's get it going. And make sure you share the podcast with a friend. You leave a rating and review. That helps the podcast get seen by more people. And it lets me know that you like what you hear and that you are, you're here with us and all those good things. So I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm going to catch you in the next episode. Until then, stay irresistible. Bye, guys.